Hey guys, Juan here with the Cost of Autism channel. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've been seeing in the news. A few months back, there was a woman that had literally killed her autistic son. Um, and I've had friends tell me of people in their families that have a child who is autistic, very similar to Jonathan, nonverbal, teenager, that basically they keep locked up. They don't want anyone to see him. They don't want to take him out anywhere, because they act up or whatever the case is. And a lot of times this acting out that they have, it's not so much that um, it's not so much a behavioral issue. A lot of times it's because of one of a few things. One of the things could be just simply boredom. You know, if you don't go on walks, I take Jonathan out for a walk every single day. Every single day. Take him out for walks, take him out for bike rides, take him out to the beach. Just like anybody else, or any normal person, I should say. I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, I was always on the street, you know? I mean, my mom never really saw me. I was always just out and about, hanging out with my friends, playing football, playing stickball, playing soccer, doing all kinds of things like a normal teenager does, you know? Um, and, you know, to an extent, as it's a society, we've maybe forgotten some of that. A lot of kids these days are stuck at home playing video games, which really isn't good for them, mentally at least. Uh, kids should be outside. And so if you're with your, you know, uh, autistic child basically stuck in the house all day long, it's not good for either one of you. And I get it. Sometimes they can be difficult. Jonathan, hands out of your shirt. Come on. Sometimes they can be difficult. Um, Jonathan, hands out of your shirt, please. And and so a lot of times you don't want to take them out because you don't want to have to deal with it. But the reality is by not dealing with it, you're creating an even bigger problem. You're creating a problem of basically, causing additional issues with your child by leaving him in the house all day long. It's like this one kid that I heard of. He smears his feces all over the walls. Well, it turns out that mom keeps him basically locked upstairs in the upstairs half of the house all day long, every day. Doesn't take him to school, doesn't take him out anywhere, doesn't do anything with so not very healthy um, for anyone to live this way. And so this is a huge issue. This is a huge issue for these kids. But that's number one, is you're going to have less issues with your kid if you start taking them out. And sometimes the issues that you have, Jonathan used to get very aggressive sometimes. And it turns out that the reason that he was getting very aggressive was because he had ulcers all throughout his entire digestive tract. And the only reason they were able to find this out was by putting a camera down his throat and another camera up his bum. Obviously he had to be asleep for this. But what it turned out was that he had a bunch of allergies. He was allergic to eggs. He was allergic to soy. He was allergic to milk. Along with several other things. Horses, cats, dogs. And all of these things were causing, all sorts of pain for him. Imagine what it feels like if you've got a hole inside of your stomach and inside your intestines, and and your esophagus, you know. Um, and this is something that happens with a lot of kids who have autism. They have a lot of digestive issues, you know. So one of the things that we had done for a while was we created a private Facebook group. And in that private Facebook group, I basically shared it with his mom and a couple of other caregivers to keep notes as to, okay, he ate such and such, he ate so much of it, so on and so forth. He had this snack, you know, he went pee at this time, he did a number 2 at that time, and so on and so forth. And basically patterns started emerging, and I realized, okay, you know, there's certain foods that he can't tolerate, you know. And it doesn't really matter what the foods are, because let's face it, everybody is a little bit different, you know. Some kids do better with almond milk, some kids do better with oat milk, you know. Some kids do better with soy milk, though soy milk I'd try to stay away from because it does have estrogenic properties that, you know, really only a middle-aged woman should have. So, you know, so much for it being a health food. But basically, but that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind, is that maybe your child has some sort of digestive issue. Jonathan, shirt. Maybe your child, shirt out of your mouth, please, Jonathan. Your child may have some sort of digestive issues that that is causing him pain, that's causing him discomfort, and therefore causing him to act out. And if that's the case, you know, you should get him to an allergist. You should get him to, you know, some sort of digestive doctor. You should simplify his menu, you know. Try staying away from fatty foods, which is one of the things that Jonathan has issues with. You know, if the ratio of fat in a food is too great, in other words, let's say that he eats chicken, but eats too much of the skin versus the meat, then he has problems, you know. I mean, he could have some of the skin as long as he's also eating the meat, but sometimes he'll just want to eat just only the skin. You know how it is. We as human beings, we tend to want the things that are the worst for us, you know. If he has too much sugar, if he has too much carbs, you know, that causes issues for him. And so these are some of the things that we have to look out for to make sure that that he's not, you know, that he's not overindulging in any one thing, because when he does, it causes him all sorts of problems. Jonathan, we're not going to walk through the sprinklers. Sorry, you have to walk through those sprinklers over there. he loves that stuff. So that's one of the things that I do with him, is take him out to this little water play area called Catherine Strom. So they have like this little water play area. How's it going? So basically, you know, that's some of the things that you have to look out for, is our digestive issues or our allergies causing, you know, behavioral issues. Because keep in mind, someone like Jonathan, he is nonverbal. So if his stomach is bothering him, he doesn't really have a way of telling me, hey Dad, you know, my stomach is killing me. You know, so what's he gonna do? He's gonna start screaming, he's gonna start crying, sometimes he'll throw himself on the floor, sometimes he'll have a tantrum. You know, what does a 2-year-old who's nonverbal do when something is bothering him? A lot of times he'll throw a tantrum, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes that's how it's like with a 16-year-old autistic child, is that he's having an issue and he doesn't really have a way of telling you, and so he throws a tantrum, unfortunately. But you know, that's some of the things that you have to really look out for. Pull your pants up, buddy, and keep your shirt down. But that's really some of the things that you have to look out for is, you know, does my child have any allergies? Does my child have any digestive issues? You know, and these are things that that you can basically look into and find out, you know, with your doctors, your caregivers, and so on and so forth. And but you know, for God's sakes, you know, take them outside. Take them out to different places. You know, no child deserves to be locked up, you know, and kept away from society, either because you're ashamed or embarrassed. You know, let me clue you in. You know, people's lives. You know, your life could be completely falling apart, and your neighbor cares more about their broken fingernail than they care about the fact that you have an autistic child. You know, they really don't care. You know, people really don't think about you and your problems as much as you may think that they do. You know, no one's going home and talking about the fact that, you know, you took out your autistic child on a walk and maybe he had a tantrum or something like that. You know, it's just not happening. You know, nobody cares. Some of the things that I do for Jonathan is, because he does have a lot of digestive issues, is I try to give him a blend of, what I do is I take like a little bit of parsnips, some carrots, some like a couple of calcium supplements, maybe some vitamin D supplements, and I blend them, put them in a blender, and basically make like almost like an applesauce out of it. Oh yeah, and actually I also throw an apple in there, so like a whole apple, you know, with all that pectin. And did I mention Metamucil? Yeah, so apple, carrots, parsnips, Metamucil, calcium, and I give this to him right before he eats something, along with a probiotic. You know, there's a couple of probiotics, I can't remember the name, but I'll put it in the text, that are really good in fighting candida, because it turned out that one of the reasons that he had all these holes in his digestive tract was because of a massive candida infection in his digestive tract. So you know, maybe it'll help your kid. It can't hurt. You know, probiotics is something that obviously, you know, is not going to hurt you. Some vitamins is obviously nothing's, you know, something that's not going to hurt you. And then also give them a garlic supplement along with this. So, and also try to incorporate garlic in as many of his foods as possible, because garlic also helps a lot with the digestive process. So, ever since I've been doing this for him, I have a lot less issues with him. You know, keeping him away from excessive carbs, excessive gluten. I usually don't go with like gluten-free stuff, because a lot of gluten-free stuff has Jonathan, come on, stay on the sidewalk. A lot of gluten-free stuff has eggs in it, which you can't have, and a lot of gluten-free stuff is just, you know, super bland. Doesn't taste very good. So, but you know, just some ideas for you, some things that might help you out. If it does, you know, hey, leave me some comments. Okay, I'll put on the music in just a moment. Okay. Go. All right. Okay, give me a minute. So, he wants me to put the music on, so I gotta make this really super short. So one of the things that comes up a lot, especially with women, is that they're afraid of taking their child out because of because of they're afraid of taking their child out somewhere because they're afraid that the child is going to run away. They can't keep up with it, and I can see how that's a valid concern. But one of the things that you can do is, number one, get some help with some respite or something like that. There's a lot of programs available to where you can get some sort of respite help or something like that, and have them go with you when you go and you take your child out for a walk. So that's number one. And number two is taking them out for a drive. A lot of kids, especially autistic children, they love going out for a drive, and so I know Jonathan definitely does, and all of the friends that he has that are autistic absolutely love going out on rides, whether it's a car ride or a train ride. Jump on Tri-Rail. It's like drive up to a Tri-Rail station, get a couple of round trip tickets and just go somewhere on the train. A lot of times that's enough to basically get him out there and be able to to do something to where you're not stuck at home bored. So I'd better stop and put his music on, because one of the things about the car rides is he loves to have his music going, and so peace out, guys. Have a great one. One of the big gripes that I have about YouTube is how a lot of times I go to watch a video and the very first thing that it'll say is, hey, like this video and subscribe. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I haven't even seen the video yet, so I don't know if I'm going to like it. So if you did like this video, then go ahead and like it, and please subscribe to get more content like this. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one. And pretty soon I'm putting together a Patreon channel, and so hopefully that'll be out soon. And thanks a lot. Have a great day. Peace out.